delta. The delta situation, you boys should be remember this. This is more in a flatlander. It can be in the headwaters or lowlands too, but the delta situation is very important, especially in flatlanders. And what you're looking at is you got this flat. This is a wide floodplain type situation. Here you got a feeder cut that's going through there. There you have the delta situation. Here you have the break line into here. Here's you have your contact points right here. They either come up on the delta if it comes shallow, or if it goes on, or they'll go up this break lines into here up on this bar, up in this area right there. That's a typical thing to work at. The Tennessee, any flatlander and the wide floodplain, such as Tennessee River chain, is a delta situation most all over it. This happened to be Douglas at a low water stage, showing the delta situation out there. I like to see them exposed, and Kentucky Lake and a lot of them, they expose very much. The water level will fluctuate, and so you have no difficulty seeing where it is. And I have to put the steep shore as a structure situation, because in extremely cold weather, the fish will use certain features on the steep bank. This is more in the wintertime. Our guideline is this: you want to find the steep structure situation. The reason for it is so that the fish will get back immediately to deep water. That's rock. The channel could swing in there close, but it could not. It is a flatliner. That was washed away before the dam was built, so to speak. This is a real key on slides, bars, highland lakes, where you got a lot of rock, steep shore. I see a lot of people fishing the steep shore. This may produce in the wintertime, real cold, up, down. But the real key to where I will fish in a highland lake such as this, where there's a lot of rock, or even in lowland lakes where I got a lot of rock cliffs, rock steep dirt, there's a key that I use. I look for the dirt. In this case, and I think Jack Wilbur's sitting in here, he was fishing this particular scene is in Douglas. And I think I told Jack one time, it's a typical thing. And the season he was working, and he finally got on this dirt, and I think that's the first big fish he ever caught out of Douglas. I don't know whether he's in here or not. But this is a real key in certain types on slides, rocks, or anything. Look for the dirt. The dirt. And people, I see them pass, the walleye fishing passing up the dirt. I see the smallmouth fishing passing up the dirt. I see the sawyer fishermen passing up the dirt. They're staying with the rock. That's wrong. Go to the dirt. The slides and those things, and why is the dirt there? Something happened. And it happened downstairs. Or it could have been a slide, it could have been a wash, it could have been a gully, it could have been most anything. If it was all rock in a cliff area and here's some dirt, it's different. Something happened downstairs. I would work that steep bank, but I wouldn't spend too much time even in the wintertime. I'd have to go where I had a side feeder cove. In this case, if it's near the spawning season, I'd go back to this thing, and then I'd work the whole thing. This is a good situation here that I would use this feature right here the whole season. I got the steep shore, In a reservoir, I look for the coves, for the spawning area as they move toward the stove, and then I got my dirt to check right there in the hot weather or whatnot. Even when I'm fishing for there's a lake in eastern Tennessee called Watauga. I have a tough time in that lake finding dirt, but I found 3 areas with dirt downstairs. And that's where I catch my smallmouth and all my largemouth bass, on that dirt. So the dirt is very important. That gives you a good example of dirt versus rocks. Dirt. This is a structure situation. I can move along pretty fast here now. This is structure situation is this bar between the bay channels. This is different types of one. This is more back in a cove. This is more like on where a major stream or a minor stream will come together out of a bar, out in a major part of your reservoir of soil. So that is one of the major bars and things that you have to notice, that is a structure situation in your interpretation of by your visual interpretation of a reservoir, as I'll show in just a minute. That's that bar in the center of that cove. That is a structure situation right there. Here is come to the major structure situation for reservoirs. And that's a side feeder stream cut. I don't care whether it's a highland or lowland or flatland or what, a canyon. But you don't have many canyons, but a highland reservoir in the mountains and things, and a lowlands, which is a lowland type later, rolling hills and so on, and then a flatliner. This is a real key to all reservoirs, is a side feeder stream cut. Now sometimes these side feeder stream cuts may be in a certain reservoirs that when they come out, you only got the 2 bars at the front. This is a cove. Now we're looking out toward the lake, and certain type, we're looking into it now. Certain type reservoirs, at certain places in the reservoir, you will only have the 2 bars. You don't have them on out through here, but in this case, your bar is here, and where the contact point in this case could be right here, but you got a bar right here. This is a structure situation. Goes all the way. Structure situation. Probably this goes way back up in here. But right here's the 2 bars. When you hear this is a structure situation basically until proven otherwise. Certain of them that will go out and they go over quite a distance in lowland type reservoirs. And you got 2 bars right here to the channel, contact points. Then they go all the way, side feeder stream cuts. Here, the bars that build up. This gully would go all the way, and here's the major part of the lake. Right out here is this covered with water, you see, when a high would go way up here and cover all that channel back in there. But right here, I caught this at just as it was breaking down into this deeper water right here. Some of the flatlanders, I look at this way. You have to consider in a flatlander that you're going to have the 4 bars. This is a feeder cut that goes all the way. You must check this interest right here. I could tell you fish stories about that one. I could tell you fish stories about this one. I'll tell you fish stories about this one. They make contact. Here's a contact point right here from the deep water here. This is a channel. They could move if weather conditions are good, and they have to be pretty good, and move up to this bar. The only time I've ever found them going back in here, believe it or not, is during the spawning season, and then right in the dead of winter in the south, for short periods of time. So this is a flat, this is a structure situation, and you always, that's the important one in a flatlander and in a wide floodplain type reservoir, such as the TVA system and so on. They're scattered from here to Missouri River all the way through. This is the real key to all of them. Now, here again, I'll repeat, your interpretation of a structure situation must start here. It went all the way. Your fishing can come this way. Your fishing can come this way, but your interpretation must start right here, right here. Your interpretation must start right here. See the route, just like the fish. Sunken roadbed is another. You will find as you fish a little later in trees and brush, man-made features will keep you out of trouble. You get you the heck out of the timber. Channels will keep you out of the timber, keep you out of trouble. The side feeder creek cuts and so on. But the man-made features will keep you out of trouble. The man-made features is that dam I saw where I told you the fish story. The man-made features, when they took the dirt out of there, made humps and everything, but they cleaned that area up to build a dam, will keep you out of trouble. That's fishing water. Not only is it the fishing water, but it's the deepest water in the lake, which I like too. I try to show you to contact points at low water stage. This that will go all the way to sanctuary depths. It comes on across. I didn't even catch the other side where it came across the lake. I will comment about this particular one because I want to comment the same thing about the same thing on the next one. The first time I fished this and found this road bed, that sunken road bed, I found it right in this area. I didn't know how the roadway went, but I knew that it was a structure situation. And in this country, I knew that they didn't have any dead ends on those roads. So I got in right here. I didn't even see that little wash right there. I just kept going. It may be a couple, 3 miles. I just kept going. I just kept going. And right about there, I crossed the channel. And I went across there and way down here before it went way over there before it crossed. But it crossed the channel right there. That was the contact point. Now what did I do after that? My interpretation, see whether the fish, even presentation lures, didn't start here. It started right there, where it crossed here. So this is a flat. It don't lead nowhere. So don't get the idea. And looking at roads, sunken roads, you look at where it comes in and you look and see if it goes out over yonder. Then you know that it crossed the channel, the entrance. It went all the way. It's a very important thing, and if there's a lot of brush in that lake, that's the salvation to you. You can fish that structure situation. Anytime I see a building or something like that in a reservoir, I know I got a sunken road. And Jerry would tell you, the first time I ever saw Jerry catch a double, I think it was, and she limited out on consecutive casts. I can't hear you. I got my ears turned off. But in this case, Jerry, I saw this thing way across the lake. And I said, now there's some sunken road bed, because this particular reservoir was just like, it was full of trees. And I mean full of trees. I said, now I saw that thing quite a long distance. I said, now there's some sunken roads over there that we can fish. And so we went over there, and there was this road, we found it, came right down through here. Came right down through here. And there was a little side road that went down through here. We found the school of bass right there. How many did we catch?
Well, I don't remember the total, but I know I got 10 without missing one.
She got 10 without missing. Anyway, that's just a little key that sometimes that you might run across in trying to find a sunken road bed, and you're having trouble with timber, bushes, trees, brush, and you're having trouble. Then the sunken road bed will save your life. A hedgerow. This I had to put as a structure situation. It's a man-made type feature in most cases. And most of the time when they built the fences, they went from the barn down across the field down to the creek. And you'll see them. Fences, hedgerows, and so on. A lot of times you'll see them out in the middle of the lake. Here's one, I followed this thing, it's not a delta. In this case, it was a hedgerow. Went right on up to this here area, right up there. It came right on out here and dropped into a channel that went right this way. Went down here, went across here, and across that way. Do not cross. This is a man-made structure situation. You never pass them up. Yeah, sometimes it may be in a canyon type area, in a very narrow one, but even there you're going to find some riprap. It's the deepest water in the lake, and in Fatlanders it's there. And you're going to have a lot of riprap, and this is the deepest water in the area. A lot of times near the dam you're going to have clear water, but in a lot of them, especially at seasons, you're going to have plenty of color right there. And the fall season coming up, you're going to find a lot of them in the reservoirs going to have some good color. This is a riprap. Don't pass it up. In a low water stage, this is a flatlander, in a low water stage where the water has gone down, dropped a lot, that riprap will really produce. If you know flood control dams from here to California, they pull them down. And this water is close to the dam with a lot of riprap. This lake may have reduced in size to 1/3. Well, when it does that, you're going to have good watercolor as it pull the water off the flats and so on. It comes down, you're going to get good watercolor. This fall, I will fish 3 of these where the water has dropped down. And I've been fishing them for 20 years. And I fish them in the fall, and I don't have to worry about where the fish are. This is, last year and year before last, I caught so many 6-pounders on the flood control dam on 500s and 400s. Pulled it down, had good watercolor. So the dam area with long riprap, do not pass up the riprap. The 17-pound fish is a state record in North Carolina. Came off the riprap. I put this in here because in studying that thing, why do the fish use the riprap, and it will have hot spots. Many times there'll be a ramp that will lead the fish to a hot spot on the lake. But the major thing on a dam is where they've changed the channel. The old channel came through here, and they blocked it off, and they put a new discharge with a tail race down here at this place right here. Now, how I found that thing I always drive across the lake, the dam, to see where the hot spots are. Sometimes I may find, can't find but just the one, this one. Well, I found it because I saw this dry one behind here, and I knew that it had been changed. So there was a hot spot. As I troll the riprap, I will find any ramp or anything that led up to this thing in the building of the dam. Very important structure situation as is the riprap. Probably the one that is more important in a reservoir than the dam is a causeway. The causeway will pass across the lake. It may be several. When I look at a road map, I want to see a reservoir. I want to see is there a causeway. I like for the causeway, I like to have two, halfway up the lake and then way up the lake. Now this is for watercolor. Sometimes I can only find one. But I head straight to it just as fast as I could go. The lake liable to be completely full of brush. You couldn't hardly get the only place that'd be clear for you, it's a channel. The rest of it's brush and trees. But here, in the building of this ramp, this road bed, they got the dirt from right around here. I guarantee you, you got some deep water, but it's being cleaned. Man-made, it's being cleaned. Here is a contact point. Here is a deep water. It's just as plain as a nose on your face. They can come this side, or they go the other side. They go this side, or they go the other side. If here is where you find the color. If there's any color in the lake, watercolor, you're going to find it at the causeway. Most of the time, the best color is going to be on the upper side. That is upstream side. And if you get this watercolor and it's clear on one side and you got some watercolor dingy on the other side of the structure, the causeway, that's the side you're going to find the fish on. Once in a while you might find one on the clear side, but you go to the dark side and then you got watercolor plus the structure. And the route is just as plain as the nose on your face. The contact point, right here. You ask me, how far do I go along that causeway from this point? I see a lot of people moving along a causeway and they go too far. The fishing water is this. As you move along the causeway, you're going to have some deep water here. You keep going across this thing till you come up in this area up here maybe a quarter of a mile, and you check this water up here and you see that it's become 14 feet, 12 feet, and so on. Then when you get to where the water is only 10 feet off of the causeway, that's as far as you go. Don't go any farther. Then check it a little deeper. In other words, go just there. But that run in there sometime during the day, if the weather's okay, it will produce. The opening is, say it's down here. I'll come up, here's the shallow water. I'll come up to it's 10 feet off here. Then I quit. I don't go any farther. I've seen guys go 10 feet and they go another quarter of a mile. They're wasting their time. Whoa, back up. I'm getting too shallow. This particular one has 3 hot spots. This will happen so often, it's unbelievable on causeways. It happens all the time in reservoirs. People miss it. And you know yourself how many times you've seen this bridge way over to one side. And when that happens, I'll guarantee you, you're going to have beautiful watercolor back in here. This is a hot spot. This is a hot spot. This is a hot spot. Most people will find that one. But they won't find this one, they won't find this one, they won't find that one. And there's some in Ohio that will scare you to death if you find it right. Now, I think we got some Ohio people in here. Structure situation. What is it? Structure, a place on the bottom that is different from surrounding areas, such as a bar. Breaks, like rocks, sunken boats, trees, bushes, breaks on the structure. This equals, this break lines and deep water equals, see the equal marks? Equals features fish use in their movements and migration, consistent of this, and that's what we call them right there. Now, if they don't go all the way, they are not structure situations. Now, we looked in this to 17. You may not remember them all, but if you look, you study the material and you travel through life, I believe you will remember these 17. I don't care where you go, that's them. That's all of them.